Hello, Tennessee viewers and listeners. This is David Plazas, the Opinion and Engagement Director. This is part of a series of interviews that we are doing with Metro Council at-Large candidates for the September 14th runoff election. Today, I have the pleasure of having Pastor Howard Jones, who is one of the 8 candidates running in that runoff. How are you doing today?
Excellent. Thank you so very much. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. For those folks who are not as familiar with you, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for this position.
My name is Howard Jones. I'm born, raised, reared here in Nashville, Tennessee. I love our city. I am presently a principal. I'm assistant principal at Stratford High School. I'm senior pastor. I've pastored for 34 years in the city of Nashville on Kingdom Cafe and Grill, which was established surely to help the economic depravity in North Nashville area. I just absolutely love Nashville, and I'm just a hometown boy.
Tell us a little bit about why you're running for this office.
I'm running for this office because I believe I can make a difference. Yeah, I can make a difference in the city that we live in. I can make a difference in hearing the people, and then also strategizing from the gift sets that I've been given. I'm running because we need a safer city. I'm running because we need to fully fund education and fully fund education with stipulations. You know, there was a time when I was in school, we had some industry certifications that would really make a difference. And that difference would be kids could come out of high school with a certification, HVAC tech certification, culinary arts. They could come out with a certification where they could truly get a job and have a career, a lifetime career. And that, I believe, could bring down crime in the city. And then I'm running because we need affordable housing for everyone. I think if we could build a stadium and be a part of a stadium building for $2 billion, I believe that we can come up with $1 billion program that would be a win-win for all of us for affordable housing. So that's why I'm running.
No, thank you. You mentioned the stadium deal and the East Bank development we've asked candidates about. Tell us a bit about it's now, even though it's been passed by the Metro Council now, if you're elected, how would you like to see that proceed and also the conversations for the rest of the budget?
Yeah, and we've got to, since it's a done deal, we got to make sure it's a win-win for our city. Make sure that there's a greater diversity in terms of the building of it. We can get in, be a part of that, and all those things that are around it at the same time. It would be amazing if we can get our children a job and get them employed in the summer as well. I tried to employ some of our students and kids in the city when they're just running around being idle and rampant. And we know that our children being idle in the city, they have committed some real heinous crimes in the city, and we could put them to work. They really need it, and it should be done. So the economic development of our city, we need to continue with that economic development, but make it so where we are encouraging our citizens to stay in Nashville and not leave Nashville. So I believe we could do that, just strategically looking at what we're doing. We've mastered surely tourism, but can we master surely having our families and having a family-centered city? That's one of the reasons I've stayed in Nashville, because it's always been known as a great city to raise a family. So I believe we can do that with the economic possibilities that we have here in Nashville.
Now, you've brought this up already a little bit, but on your questionnaire for the Tennessean Editorial Board, you talk about public safety and really addressing the crime challenges that there are. Could you talk a little bit more about that and how you would like to see that addressed?
Well, I see some economic areas in our community that surely is a cause of, it's a contributing factor to some of the ills that we have in the city. David, I work at Stratford High School, and every year for the last 5 years, I've had to weep about a child either shooting someone or being shot. There was a young man that I tried to help, and he was shot in the head in North Nashville. He and another young man, and just trying to get a grip on making sure. And this young man, we tell you, I came real close to getting him a job He loved cooking, and but he was from a deprived area in terms of the lack of economic development. So I'm just believing if we could marry the two, the wonderful economic development that we're having in this community, and putting it with getting it with our children, so our children can experience that growth head on, with the rubber meeting the road. I think we could curtail some things and have a win-win.
And would you talk a little bit more about the role of North Nashville? Obviously, North Nashville is often talked about in electoral politics, but there's also times when North Nashville also, feels getting ignored. I remember a few years ago after the tornado, there was a big effort to try to buy a lot of the homes of longtime residents who were there. And certainly that we saw some of the inequities. How do you see the situation there with longtime residents trying to find their place in today's Nashville?
I think it's a vision. I think sometimes we have this issue in North Nashville and some other areas in Nashville because of lack of a vision and lack of leadership. The reason we started Kingdom Cafe was because we always talked about how in the 37208 zip code, more African Americans men had gone to prison. So we used previously convicted persons to remodel that restaurant. It's 8,000 square foot restaurant, and it's beautiful from using the skill sets of persons that sometimes just have not been given a second chance. There are some people that own property up and down Jefferson Street and other areas of North Nashville, giving them a vision to develop that area. If we could bring in companies, and we do bring in companies and give them a tax abatement, all right? Mm-hmm. And that encourages them to come. Why can't we give that same plan for small businesses here in Nashville to encourage for them to keep their property and then do it for the betterment of our people that are here? And I think we can do that by just sitting down and just sharing that. With also the faith-based organization that I'm with, we have created affordable housing, giving that plan and laying out a plan for churches and other faith-based organizations that own property in this city, if we can turn around and show them how they can develop it and create affordable housing for people in the city. I just think that we can do that by having a conversation, sharing that vision, using a tax abatement, and then it also generates, as we know, it will also generate revenue for the city.
And one of the questions I'd love to address with you, and this has been an issue in the campaign, is the relationship between the state legislature and the city council and city government, which has been fraught recently with actions to remove the city's ability to manage part of its finances in the past, part of its boards, and for the mayor to appoint certain officials. How do you think that you, if elected as a council member, can address this particular issue?
We got to build a relationship with everyone. And it's amazing that our council, we don't declare a party. I think it's a wonderful piece that we are here for everybody. And we've got to get past the petty party politics that's dividing not just, at this point, our city, but the state and this nation. And it's causing a great rift in this great democratic experiment. So sitting down and having the conversation at the same time, I believe local politics is the best politics, and we cannot be afraid of what those that are divisive that are doing. We've got to do what's best for the constituency. And if the people are saying this is what they want in terms of services, we're going to render those services. The idea of taking funds from us and allowing one party to be mad at us because they belong to another party. I think what we need to do is take a page out of Avon Williams' book, what they did with the Tennessee Voters Council, and begin to register people to vote, help people to understand that your vote counts, and then begin to put progressive people in place to really make a difference and give them that hope again and say, look, it's for the people, by the people, and we need to influence what's happening in the state. Instead of being afraid of what they're doing to us, we need to push them back on their heels instead of us being afraid of what they're doing.
So that's an interesting question with regard to voter registration, because we saw about only 20% of voters came out on August 3rd, about 100,000 voters. What are the conversations you're having with people in the community about how to motivate them to go to the polls, and what are the issues that are driving their decision to either show up or not show up?
Yeah, there's a hopelessness in the hearts of some of the people, a lot of confusion, a lot of just, is this really going to matter? And with the council, they want to say that, the deal that they cut for the stadium was the best deal. It was a $2 billion deal. I heard some politicians state that, we're just not thinking large enough, but we've got to have a communicating piece with the people and let the people understand what's going on and not be dictatorial, but be democratic. And with that, helping the people understand that their vote counts, and it counts. It counted. They've got to understand it counted when we decided to raise taxes. Okay. And at the same time, people wanted to raise taxes. People wanted to have an increase in salary for our teachers. I think that's great. But having the same conversation and saying, okay, now if we raise these taxes, it's going to raise the cost of everything in the city. And it did. And I don't know if we thought about our seniors, because we have some seniors, David, that had to make a decision as to whether or not they would get their medication or get food. And they should not have to make that kind of decision in this city. This is a great city. And our seniors have been in some instances really marginalized, and we're better than that. So just coming together and having a conversation that if we've got to make a sacrifice of raising taxes, then we've got to leverage it all the way around and make sure this is a good place to live for everybody. If you're on a fixed income and you live in this city, I talked to some seniors in the Tennessee Towers, in the Tennessee Teachers Towers on Metro Center. And, they were saying that they felt like they were just left out and locked out because they are on a fixed income and food was so high. And it was hurting my feelings concerning just them being left out. But I just believe that just communicating and making sure services are met all the way around for all of us and for the good of all of us, and not just big business. But we don't want to stop business from flourishing in Nashville, but we don't want to run people out of Nashville, and we don't want to mistreat our seniors or our children or anyone in between.
One of the issues that's being discussed, we're recording this on August 15th, and is the license plate readers, which is supposed to go for a vote at the Metro Council. So by the time viewers watch this vote will likely have already passed. But where is your thinking on this particular issue and how the city should address balancing public safety and also the right of privacy of people out in the community?
Right. Part of the community, and listening to them, they're afraid of it being a tool to hurt, harm, or hinder the African American community. But I think that conversation comes out again of the disparity between just having a relationship with the police department. Our police department has to, and our police department is doing better. Chief Drake's doing a wonderful job in building community. Definitely our police department has to continue to do that. I think that's the greatest fear of people saying that those readers are disproportionately targeting African Americans and causing life problems there. But we've got to sit down and say, okay, let's really look at all of this from both angles, but have a conversation. I'm willing. So I'm asking folks to vote for me, and I'm willing to have conversation and community meetings. Some say that at-large persons don't have community meetings, but I would love to sit down with the district council persons and with the people in the community doing joint council meetings with the community and saying, hey, what can we do? What do you feel? What do you sense? What's the fear? And bringing those services that we pay for with our tax dollars so the people can indeed say like, hey, they really care for us and get a grip on what their tax dollars are bringing them. So if we do this piece that people are saying is spying on them, we've got to do it with some fidelity and help people understand that is it going to be safe for me or is it just going to spy on me, and have that conversation.
And one of the final questions we ask candidates on the questionnaire is about the places they recommend to visitors. And you had mentioned Prince's Hot Chicken, the National Museum of African American Music, and Music Row. Why are those your top picks?
Hot chicken is a piece for Nashville. Yeah. And I didn't want to be biased and say you can't slip up and miss Kingdom Cafe and Grill, 2610 Jefferson Street. but definitely, I remember as a kid, Princess Hot Chicken used to be on Jefferson Street and in the area. And definitely the cultural aspects of the city we cannot miss, and we need to embrace that. So as a teacher, you got to get that historical piece in, and as you get the historical piece, it's gonna make you a little hungry. So get you some hot chicken along the way.
Any final words for the audience before we sign off?
Sure. I'm asking you to vote for Howard Jones. Go to the votehowardjones.com webpage, and surely, if you want and you move to give a donation, but more importantly, I want you to vote. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. And look, take some folk with you to vote. Exercise that right. I'm begging you to do that. And a vote for Howard Jones, a vote for a safer city, a vote for Howard Jones is a vote to fully fund education, and a vote for Howard Jones is to have affordable housing for everyone in the city. So thank you. Vote for Howard Jones. And David, I thank you so very much for doing this.
No, thank you very much. And remember, to the viewers, August 25th is the start of early voting, goes to September 9th. The election is September 14th. For those who qualify, you can get an absentee ballot until September 7th. Please keep up with stories and other videos on Tennessean.com. Thank you so much, Pastor Jones. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, sir.